Hello, welcome back to We the People Politics. Today, we will be making a best case scenario for President Biden in the 2024 presidential election. We will be making this prediction based upon polls, historical trends, and my personal interpretations. I'm not going to bore you with a super long intro. Let's get predicting. As always, we will start with the safe states, which are determined by anywhere over 12 percentage points. For President Biden, these will be the states of Hawaii, California, Oregon, Washington, Colorado, Illinois, New York, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Washington, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, Vermont, and Maine's 1st Congressional District. For former President Trump, who is likely to win the Republican nomination, he will carry the states of Utah, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, North and South Dakota, Nebraska at large and its 3rd district, Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, and South Carolina. This puts Biden 70 electoral votes ahead of Trump, far more than in a normal scenario. As for the remaining states, we will start from the west and end in the east. Starting with the very big state of Alaska, Trump leads by about 8 points in the Alaska Survey research polls. However, in a Biden landslide victory, I could see Trump leading by slightly under 5 points in the state, making it lean Trump. A lean state is any state determined in between 2 and 5 percentage points. In the state of Nevada, Trump leads Biden from anywhere between 2 and 10% in polls conducted this year. However, as Biden won the state by 2% in 2020, I believe that a landslide scenario in this year would have him win by a smaller margin of around 1%, making it tilt Biden. A tilt state is any state determined by under 2 percentage points. Down in Arizona, Trump leads by slightly less than in Nevada. However, I think that in a Biden best case scenario, he would lead by about the same margin that he led by in 2020, a razor thin margin of under 1%, making it tilt Biden. In the neighboring state of New Mexico, Biden leads by 8 points in a poll from before Trump's polling surge, so in a best case scenario, I would say that it is likely Biden. A likely state is determined in between 5 and 12 percentage points. Moving over to the great state of Texas, Trump leads by 7 points at his lowest, 10 at his highest. I see it being a similar story to Alaska, where in a best case scenario, Biden loses by just under 5 points, making the Lone Star State lean Trump. Up in Nebraska's 1st Congressional District, Trump won it by 15% in 2020. In a Biden landslide scenario, however, I'd wager that due to the district losing some of its redder counties, it will barely be likely Trump. Nebraska's 2nd district gained one of the 1st district's red counties, that being Sanders County, making it more conservative. However, in a Biden landslide victory, I could see him winning by around 6 to 8 points, just like in 2020, making it likely Biden. In the state of Iowa, Trump leads Biden by 9 to 12 points, and I do not see Biden winning it in any case or even making it competitive, so I will say that it is likely Trump. Moving north to Minnesota, Biden leads by 3 points in a January poll. However, seeing as he won the state by 7 points in 2020, we will say that it is likely Biden. In Wisconsin, Trump barely edges out Biden in recent polls, not getting more than 5 points except in one morning consult poll. This is one state that I believe Biden could actually outperform his 2020 performance, as in that year, he only won by half a percentage point. Thus, I will say that his lead increases to a lean margin. In Michigan, Trump leads by slightly more than in Wisconsin, and despite being Biden's strongest swing state in 2020, he will win by a tilt margin as he has lost a significant amount of Michigan's Arab American population. Ohio is a similar story to Iowa, where Trump is leading by so much in the polls that even in Biden's best case scenario, I do not see it getting any closer than likely Trump. Same story in Florida, where despite only winning by 3% in 2020, Trump is crushing Biden in the polls, refusing to dip into lean margins. We will say that it is just barely likely Trump. Biden surprisingly managed to flip Georgia in 2020, winning it by just 0.2% of the vote, making it the closest state in the nation. However, Trump leads by a margin consistently in the 6 to 9% range, thus leading me to believe that Biden couldn't even get within 2 points of winning the state this time around, making it lean Trump. Similar story in North Carolina, when Trump consistently leads by 5 points or over, save for 2 polls that have him at 3 points. Even a best case scenario, I think Biden loses by over 2 points, making it lean Trump. Up in Virginia, Biden leads by 3 to 6%. He won by 10% in 2020, so I think it is safe to say that he will win by a likely margin in a best case scenario. In Pennsylvania, an absolute must win for President Biden, he and Trump go back and forth, and it is incredibly close. That, along with the fact that he won by 1% in 2020, and it is his birth date, will make it lean Biden. In the state of New Hampshire, Biden leads by 3, 7, and 10% in recent polls. If we combine that with the fact that he won it by 7% in 2020, we will say that it is likely Biden. In Maine's 2nd congressional district, Trump leads by 20 points in a February poll and 14 points in a November poll. However, seeing as he only won it by 7% in 2020, we will say that he wins it by only a likely margin. Finally, we have Maine at large, where Trump is actually leading by 6% in a February poll, and Biden leads by 1% in a November poll. Despite the Trump's lead, however, the fact remains that Biden won the state by 9% in 2020, and for this best case scenario, I would say that he barely wins it by a likely margin. And with that, we have the final score: Trump with 251 electoral votes, Biden with 287. It seems very underwhelming considering the fact that this is a best case scenario, but when the polls, which tend to favor Biden, have him losing by large margins in most swing states, it is hard to give them to him even in a best case scenario. If the economy, specifically inflation, drastically improves and the border crisis is resolved, this map will likely change drastically. However, until then, this is what I personally think Biden's best case scenario is. What do you think about this map? Do you disagree with anything I said? Of course you don't, so I wouldn't expect any comments saying so. However, I would appreciate comments telling me how smart and accurate my prediction was. I would also appreciate a like and subscribe because I know you love this content. And since you do, I expect and cannot wait to see you in the next video.